Welcome back to Asianholic. One thing that kept me sane while living in Bangkok was running. Every evening, I would leave my hotel on Sukhumvit Road and head toward the Benjakitti Park. The route itself wasn't exactly ideal. The moment I step outside on Sukhumvit, Bangkok reminds me that it is one of the busiest cities in Southeast Asia. Cars crowd through traffic. Motorcycles weave between lanes. Buses release thick clouds of exhaust. The air feels heavy and hot, sometimes almost chewable. For many people, that would be enough reason not to run. But honestly, after spending time running in Vietnam, Bangkok didn't feel nearly as intimidating. Compared to some of the roads I had run along in Hanoi, this felt manageable. So every afternoon around 5 o'clock, I would put on my running shoes and start moving. The first few hundred meters were always the least enjoyable. The sidewalks were crowded. Tourists stopped suddenly to check Google Maps. Office workers rushed toward BTS stations. Street vendors occupied part of the pavement. Running through Sukhumvit often felt less like exercise and more like navigating an obstacle course. But I never minded because I knew what was waiting at the end. Benjakitti Park, and more specifically, the lake. As I ran through the crowded streets, I often found myself passing beautiful women. This is Bangkok after all. The city constantly throws visual distractions at you. Elegant office workers leaving work. Fitness girls in expensive activewear. University students walking in groups. Occasionally, someone would catch my attention enough to make me glance twice. Sometimes, I found myself unconsciously matching pace behind an attractive runner for a few hundred meters. Then I would laugh at myself because that wasn't why I was there. The entire reason I started running was to escape from loneliness, stress, overthinking. But Bangkok seemed determined to place beautiful women directly in my path every single day. But eventually, after pushing through all of them, I would finally reach the entrance. And every single time, the same thing happened. The city disappeared. Not literally. I could still see the skyscrapers. But psychologically, it felt like crossing into another world. Especially around 6 in the evening. That was my favorite time. The sun would begin sinking behind the buildings. Golden light reflected across the surface of the lake. And suddenly, Bangkok no longer felt like Bangkok. The chaos remained outside. Inside the park, everything slowed down. People walked peacefully. Couples sat beside the water. Everyone chasing their own goals. The atmosphere always motivated me, so naturally, my pace increased. I started overtaking people one after another. A man in his 40s, a university student, a woman listening to music. There's just something strangely satisfying about finding your rhythm during a long run. Sometimes I would notice an exceptionally beautiful woman running ahead. For a few moments, I might find myself keeping the same pace. Not because I intended to speak with her, not because I planned to flirt, just because humans are human. Beautiful things naturally attract attention. But eventually, I'd remind myself why I came. I wasn't there to meet anyone. I was there because, for 1 hour each day, I wanted freedom. Freedom from expectations. Freedom from relationships. Freedom from social obligations. Freedom from all the complicated emotional situations I somehow kept finding myself involved in throughout Thailand. By the time I completed 10 kilometers, darkness began settling over the city. The temperature dropped slightly. The crowds became thinner. And I would find a spot on the grass near the lake. That became my ritual. No fun, no conversation, no destination, just sitting there, watching the sunset fade from the water, watching the skyline slowly illuminate itself, watching the runners continue their endless circles around the lake. And honestly, those moments became some of my favorite memories of Bangkok. Not the bars, not the night markets. Just me sitting along the grass after a 10-kilometer run. Sometimes the happiest moments arrive when nothing is happening. No beautiful girl, no adventure. Just a tired runner sitting beside the lake while the sun disappears behind the skyline. And for a little while, everything feels exactly the way it should.